So when you've got your piece or pieces all marked up, you want to go through and we're going to have to plane down to this line here. Now we've chosen radiata pine to use today for a couple of reasons. Number one is it's reasonably affordable. Number two, it's quite sustainable and you can harvest a pine tree in approximately 15 to 20 years, which is a very quick turnaround for timber. And then also it's quite soft. And that means that we can plane away and remove a bit of material relatively quickly. So if you've got a double clamp available to you, or double vise situation available to you, please, I recommend go through and use that. Always make sure there's nothing in the vices that's going to damage your project because, well, you're at a school. And kids sometimes do silly things. Come through and you're going to want to set this up so it's just above the line there. And coming back over the other side, just above that line there. Now, what you will notice is that you've got quite a bit sticking out here and not really anything down here. And the reason is for that is because see this section here? We don't want to plane that. You do not want your plane to touch this section here. If it does touch it, it causes issues when we're trying to line up those joins, those leg joins. So, using a plane, this is called a plane, this is a number 5, we're going to come through and check the setup. Now, if you've got a lot of excess like this, I think the best way to do it is just to come through and just see if it's cutting. Now, it may not be cutting at all or cutting too much. Now for this is cutting way too much. It's thick, it's painful, and it was pretty hard to push that plane through. Now there's a few ways to modify a plane. Right now we're dealing with the depth of cut, which means we want to remove this blade, retract it back inside. To do that, you're going to use the wheel here and you're going to spin it to the left. Now, I'm going to spin it fairly far back because it was cutting rather deep. And as you can see, it's not cutting. Then I like to do just a quarter of a turn each pass. And I'm just doing that with my finger. So as I push up, I'm turning. Push up, turn. Push up, turn. Push up, turn. And you do that over and over until you start to get a cut happening. Sometimes it's harder than others, so you may have to use that hand. And it's just started to cut there. You start to hear that. Now this is what we're looking for, maybe a little bit thicker than that. So we're going to come back, adjust just a little bit now. And as you can see, it's starting to cut more and more, and that's what you're after. It's lightweight, it's light, it's beautiful, it's soft, and that's what you want, because otherwise you're cutting too much or too little. You'll notice a couple other things. Number one is I'm planing on a slight angle. The reason for that is you'll find some people like it, some people don't like it. I really enjoy it. I find I get a lot more force this way and I can cut better. But traditional basic practice is just cutting straight forward through. Another way you can modify your clamp or adjust it is with this here, this lever right here. And what that does is it changes the angle at which this blade is sticking out. So if I go far this way, you may be able to see that there's more sticking out here than there is there. But we want a straight cut, so I'm going to come through and adjust that so that's nice and flat and straight. I'm going to come through and keep pushing through. Now, sometimes woodworking is a bit about the boredom. So you can sit there and just push through. But if you ask really nicely, because next year, in 3 months' time, you'll be able to use it, come up to me and see me, and I will trim it on the bandsaw for you. It won't be the freshest cut ever, but it'll be quick, it'll be simple, and you'll be able to work from there. So I'm going to come back with this piece after it's been cut on the bandsaw, and I'll show you what to do from there.